Today is Epiphany. It is the very last day of Christmas. After today, we can take down our Christmas decorations and put away our Christmas music CDs for another year. The reruns of The Grinch and Charlie Brown's Christmas and Miracle on 34th Street and even It's a Wonderful Life are gone for another year. But we didn't have a Christmas pageant this year. And because we didn't have a Christmas pageant this year, we found a great video of a Christmas pageant that we would like to share with you. Please feel free to sing along if you know the tune.
Skies and see
college a couple of years ago, everyone at Delhaven Christian Church was still talking about how he was the very best king ever when he was in kindergarten. And then there was the kid who was, the baby in the manger. He didn't live that down for a long, long time. But, were these guys kings? Or were they wise men, as it says in the translation we had today? Or were they magi? What is a magi, anyway? I lean toward thinking of these as scholars and astrologers, but I can see why they use the word kings in the song, because we three scholars and astrologers of Orientar just really doesn't work. And it's pretty much a given that they weren't there at the same time as the shepherds and angels, even though our Christmas pageants teach us that they were, because it was a long trip, made longer by the fact that they had to stop off for directions every so often, like at Herod's palace. By the time they got to Jerusalem, Jesus would have been maybe 8 months old, a couple of years. It depends on, which scholar you listen to. But the details aren't as important as the larger truth in this story. But today, I'm really happy that I am not a scholar who has to worry about all those details, because I've been following an online discussion between several New Testament scholars about who these three persons were. It's a fairly drawn-out conversation, even if you skip over the parts where they seem to be saying, my original source is better than your original source. Today's scholars can't even agree on whether these three were all men, because apparently the masculine plural in Greek is used even when only one person in the group is actually male. So it's conceivable that one or more of them could have been female. Although it does seem that the closest to consensus that these scholars have come is that they were wise men, not kings, and very possibly astrologers, maybe from as near as Persia. Now, these discussions, while always fascinating, don't really have a lot of bearing on what happened then or what we celebrate now. Epiphany, the word, is what we think of as how we describe an aha moment. In church, it is the day we celebrate that the child born of Mary is the Messiah, the one who was foretold, and we're told that by an authority. In this case, the authority is three visitors, three wise men who have come from the east seeking the fulfillment of a prophecy, the birth of a king who would lead the people of Israel. When they do find him, gifts that they bring symbolize who he is: gold for being a king, incense for being God, myrrh to anoint him at his death. These three come not from among the people of Israel, but from an entirely different place and different religion, which tells us that this child has come for all the world, not just Israel. These three, who are quite possibly priests of another religion entirely, fall on their knees before a tiny baby who is nowhere near the mighty palace that one would expect a king to be born in. And they give him the respect and honor that one gives a king or a god. And Jesus, of course, is both. From this point forward in our church year ahead, we will follow Jesus in his ministry. We'll see him being baptized and performing miracles. We'll see him heal the sick and raise the dead. We'll see him mocked as King of the Jews. We will see him forgive the thief on the cross. We'll see him die on his own cross. And we will see the women bring fragrant oils, myrrh, to anoint him in the tomb, only to discover that this king doesn't need those things, for he has defeated death. In our church year, we see the beginning and the end of his earthly life. But in our own lives, we recognize that there is no real end to his life, for he is our living Savior, our risen King. Whoever these three wise guys were, and regardless of what the scholars think. They made it clear to us and to the world that this is Christ the King. This is not simply some fanciful tale of long ago, but the true story of God's love for all people. This child, born in such low estate, worshipped by shepherds, angels, and scholars and kings, will, through his death and resurrection, heal the world and in our hearts, from the day of his birth until the end of time. This is how God's love shows. Join me now, if you will, in singing the story of these wise men, these three kings, and their